We got
Hello,
live.
hello, people of That Beautiful Life podcast. Very much welcome. This is Roddy Bergström talking all the way from the quite sunny Sweden. Also today, I'm happy. It's a good morning. It's episode 167, and as always, I have the beautiful Bruce
Mm-hmm.
Campbell. Yeah, should I continue? The beautiful, the strong, the handsome,
mm.
the charming,
The bando.
the,
Yeah.
the handle of your
The
dreams. Yeah, and
bando
so
of
forth.
your dreams.
There we go, bro. You can enter the red carpet now. Feel free to do so whenever you want to.
You know what's the coolest thing? Speaking of
Yeah.
bandos of dreams, like just as you started saying that, the door knocked for like a short moment, and Chris's hand
Oh,
came in, and he handed me
okay.
a smoothie because I haven't had breakfast yet.
Oh,
So thank you
I
to
mean,
Chris for the smoothie.
Chris is the man. I'm not gonna lie.
He is. He is the
The
man.
beautiful man all the way from Tobago, actually,
Yes.
visiting you now also for quite a few weeks.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
he's visiting for quite a few weeks, which is gonna be which has been fun, because Chris cooks because he's a chef, and
Yeah. It's kind of a perk entering the house in itself.
we've been eating pretty well, and I think the other perk to Chris visiting as well is that for the longest while Alex has wanted to get back on like her her diet and all that kind of stuff, and she's just been
Yeah, yeah.
start stop, not really sticking to it.
Right.
And like since Chris has been here, like her and Chris, like they, because Chris is he's a fluffy guy as well. He's like, you know what, like let's work out together, like
Yeah,
let's.
good.
And so they're dieting together, and Alex has been hitting her stride pretty well. Like she's been on it and doing her thing,
Mhm.
which has been great. Like I came in, I went to the airport with my brother to drop my sister to the airport yesterday.
Oh, okay. Oh, she's going back now.
Oh, she's
Or
gone. She's home. She's
yeah.
back in
Look.
TT.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So we dropped her to the airport. When I got back, I went to the living room to like put away my coat and stuff like that. And there was Alex in the living room, like having a workout burn, and she was like, get out, she's cause she doesn't like me hanging around when she's working out. I don't know if like I distract her or something. Maybe I do,
Mm.
or maybe she's self conscious. I don't know which one it is, but I was like, okay, fine. I left the living room, and then you know after that she came like trying to get a cuddle from me, after she finished her workout. I was like, I'm not cuddling people who tell me to get out. I didn't want you in there while I was working out. I was like, yeah, right. um but yeah, she's been doing fine. She's been doing her
That's
thing.
nice. Yeah.
And I have to say it's thanks to Chris being here. The two of them
Yeah.
have been on it. So they have their own dietary plan. Zavi and I have our own dietary plan because we're both trying to gain weight.
Yeah.
So we're both doing our own thing.
Yeah. You don't
Um,
have to think so much about the
mhm.
calories or the carbs in that sense. You can
We're
just
just shoving food on our throats essentially.
be a bit more generous with the whole intake, I guess. Yeah.
The other thing too
But
is
it's
that like I'm mainly just responsible for me and the lads now when it comes to food.
yeah.
So I don't have to think about like Alex or Chris or anyone else. I could just make whatever I want,
Right. Right.
and me and the lads will eat. I don't have to think like,
Mm.
oh, maybe I have to cut back a bit on this because
Yeah. Do
Alex
you
has
think
to
it
eat.
will continue like that? I'm sorry, when Chris goes back, like
I
do you
am
think you guys will have different diets going on parallel?
I am
I mean, that can be a
hopeful.
challenge in a household, but
I'm hopeful that that will be the case because what I told Alex is like,
yeah.
you focus on you, I'll focus on me and the boys. Because
Okay.
Alex has a habit, like for example, she'll get up in the morning,
Mm.
and I don't know how to describe it. I think without making it sound weird, but she's got this sort of like service oriented sort of like way she thinks when she like. So she'll get up in the morning and she'll be like, "Ooh, I gotta make breakfast for like everyone," So
Aha.
she'd be like,
Yeah.
"Babe, you want me to make you breakfast?" And most people are not gonna say no to someone making them breakfast. You'd be like, "What? Free breakfast? Hell yes! Like I'll take that."
Of
Um,
course.
but then what I noticed is that Alex making breakfast in the morning comes with a caveat. I mean, she doesn't make herself breakfast because she's not gonna eat it, or she'll eat something
Oh,
that's not healthy.
aha.
Um, and so she won't make breakfast for herself. She'll make for me, and then she'll, after I've had my breakfast, she'll be sitting at her desk, and she'll be like, "Oh, I haven't had breakfast yet." And she'll be like, "Babe, can you make me breakfast?" And I was just like, "Babe, like, you gotta like I'm fine with making my breakfast, you know that, right? So like, you need to get up and
Yeah.
make your breakfast." And not like ask me if I want breakfast, and then
Yeah.
you're hungry after. Because I'm like if I get up and I make my breakfast, I'm fine. It's like I can make my own breakfast in the morning. um but when I've finished eating and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get some work done, I'm gonna do this,
Mm.
you're like, oh, you haven't had breakfast yet. I'm like, wait a minute, why didn't you have breakfast? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you
true.
know, you made for me, you've probably made some for the boys and all that kind of stuff, but you haven't eaten yet, and so for me it's like, I've said to her, like, hey babe, focus on you. I've got me and the lads, like,
Yeah.
we got this, like, well, because to be honest, I don't make breakfast for the boys either. They make breakfast for themselves. So like, Zavi gets up
Mm.
and he makes porridge for both him and Ty.
Oh, look
So
at that.
that's how they
Good
usually
job.
do breakfast in the morning. Because
Mm.
I taught them how to like make their breakfast and do their own thing.
Yeah,
So
that's good. That's good.
they don't need anyone in the morning. Like,
Yeah, right.
honestly, they will literally, if Alex and I disappeared for like a couple days or something, they would survive. Like,
Yeah.
Zavi can cook a few simple meals,
Yeah,
and even Ty can make a few simple meals himself. I mean, he's
right.
not allowed to at the moment because he's been going in the pantry and eating random peanut butter and stuff. So he's been banned from the
Okay.
kitchen for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, okay.
But
Yeah, that's another story. Yeah,
he
yeah.
knows he can make it if he wants to.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
if
yeah.
he's allowed to. Like, if you say,
Right.
Ty, you
Yeah.
are allowed to make your breakfast again for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You feel Ty's gonna be like, oh, I don't know what to do. He's gonna be like, great, like, let's do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Let's
Um,
go.
I can make my breakfast again. I don't need nobody to
Yeah.
make this for me. And
Yeah.
and the thing with Ty as well is that he likes being able to do it himself. Like, he does not
Mm.
like he obviously he'll if he's told he can't do it, he won't do it, out of like respect, like he has to follow the rules. But if you let him,
Mm.
Ty will make his own breakfast. Like,
Yeah,
he is
yeah, yeah.
not gonna be like, oh well, I can't do it, the struggle. Or no, no, no. My
Right,
my
right,
guy's
right,
gonna be
right.
like, what? I'm allowed to make my own breakfast? Say it ain't so. I'm out here in these streets making breakfast now. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, but that's good to know. I mean, it's good to know for you guys as well that they can do that.
hmm
And it takes some stress out of you as well. I mean, regarding time and getting to work or fix this and that and start the day. So that's
hmm
fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, maybe that would be the model then, as you say.
hmm
Alex does her own. I mean, yeah, because also it's. I mean, if she takes care of herself like
hmm
first, if that makes sense, then it's easier also to maybe help others if needed. You've
hmm
covered the needs to have some energy to start to, yeah, deal with the, you know, tasks for the day. So,
Exactly.
uh,
And I think the thing is, if she's just taking care of her stuff with, regards to food and stuff like that,
yeah,
it's easier on everyone else to a certain extent because we don't need to think about it. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah, 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 sure.
and it's a lot easier on her because there's a lot of things that she does, and it's like, babe, why do you do all these things?
Yeah,
just
okay,
like,
yeah,
leave
yeah.
it. Someone else will get it done.
Mm,
And so she's like, if I don't do it, who's gonna do it? I'm like, we'll do it.
true.
Like, just relax. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to rush to do everything. Like, chill.
No.
Either I'll do it, or the lads will do it, or
Yeah.
just. Mm,
It will be taken care of in one way
it
or
will be.
another.
It
You
will
just
be
have to
indeed.
get in sync with this a little change of routines. So
Mm-hmm.
it's got to be fine.
That's
Besides that, I mean, have your week been good? Like
It has. It,
overall,
ha- it has.
since
I
we talked
mean,
last time.
I mean, obviously, like, my sister, she came back to the UK for like just like 3 days, and those 3 days flew by so quickly.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Um,
Mm,
because she didn't even stay the full 3 days with us. She spent some of that time at Lexus and stuff like that.
yeah.
So by the time you blinked, it was time for her to go to the airport, and we
Oh,
had to drop her
wow.
back and all that kind of stuff. So it was a bit of a bummer, you know. But at the same time, it was like, you know, I knew she had to go back and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So it was like it wasn't like an unforeseen circumstance, like, oh, I'm surprised, you know, she just has to
Yeah,
leave, you
right.
know, all the horrors. I was just like, oh, it's that time again.
May I ask you, did
Hmm.
they have a, did she, I mean, we probably talked about that. I mean, she went with this guy, right, to
Hmm.
his home country, like it's Estonia, right?
Yeah, she did
Oh,
she did go to Estonia with her
ah,
gentlemanly fellow,
with him,
and
yeah, right, cool.
yeah, they had a nice old time. She seemed to
Mm,
have enjoyed it.
cool. Yeah,
But
I
there's
have
a
to
whole
say,
long
I mean,
story about that that I can't get into right now
no, no, no,
because
we
of the
can,
fact that yeah, it's not my business to really like share.
exactly. Yeah,
I should say share as of yet. At some point, I will be able to share some more about this.
yeah, okay, okay,
But
okay.
I'll tell you off here when we're not
Sure.
live. I'll fill you in on the details. I think you'll like the details actually.
Cool.
Um,
Okay.
so yeah, but yeah, definitely, you know, those of you listening to the podcast, in due time, you know, there's a reason to subscribe to find out more. You know, follow us
Exactly.
and subscribe and listen in. You know, find out more about this intriguing sort of family
Yeah, the
story. You know, I always have,
in a circle, the mysteries and
yeah, you
secrets.
know,
Yeah, that's what it
there's
is.
always something coming. You know,
It is always something coming in. True.
so yeah, that's mini been it. I think in general, like, um, you know, the lads being home has been all right. You know,
Yeah.
Ty's been doing his thing. Zavi's been doing his thing and all that kind of stuff. Chris and
Yeah.
Zavi seem to spend a lot of time together.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Okay.
so like when Chris is in
Cool.
the kitchen, Zavi's with him and he's like teaching him stuff and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
So they seem to spend a lot of time together
that's good.
at the moment. And Zavi seems to be enjoying himself, you know,
Yeah.
and with Ty, on occasion, Ty and Chris might chat a bit. Like whenever Chris happens to be in Ty's immediate environment, Ty tries to chat him up, but it's usually at moments when Ty shouldn't be chatting, like when he's supposed to be eating dinner or something. And he's like trying to talk, and I'm like, mate, what? No talking. Like, focus on eating your food. You're not gonna finish if you just sit there chatting, you know. And then I'll be like, Chris, don't talk to him. Like, just you know, like,
One thing at a time. Yeah, yeah.
Chris will be like, okay, cool, you know. And then I'll hear Ty
Yeah.
like saying something in the background. Like, I'll be like, Ty. He'll be like, we'll go silent for a bit, you know. So, um,
Oh man.
yeah, you
Yeah,
know,
that energy.
he
Yeah.
does want he does try to chat up Chris whenever he happens to be in his immediate location. Fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah,
It's
it's been a fine old time. Got to take Ty
good.
to this new play center that was built in Tong yesterday with my sister-in-law. And I like it a lot. They've got a pool and all that kind of stuff. So
Uh-huh. Okay.
I'm actually planning to make it a regular thing with Ty because we had to cancel a couple of our subscriptions and stuff like that because of cost of living
Yeah.
going up and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And
exactly. Yeah.
it also included some of Ty's extracurricular activities for the weekend. So with the swimming, when I checked the price, it was quite reasonable enough that I was thinking I saw, you know, I came back and I was like, babe, I think I want to do the swimming thing with Ty at least you know,
Mm.
once a week if possible because the cost is
Yeah.
quite reasonable. And you know, we did have to take away some of his other activities and stuff like that. So it'd be good to, you know, spend that time with him and teach him how to swim and all that kind of stuff. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, so we're gonna do that.
So, mm.
I'm gonna be Ty's swimming instructor soon.
Exactly. Yeah,
Mm.
right. Yeah, have you found out or thought about a day already? You're gonna
Saturday,
go or?
Saturday.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Because he used to have a Japanese class on Saturdays, and we had to
Mm.
cancel that. The cost was just not conducive to our, you know,
Yeah.
current budget.
Sure.
With the you know, with the price increases.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Understand completely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but the thing is that with with that, the people who run the place, I have to say, really nice people. They even try to like subsidize the cost for us and everything like that. But unfortunately, we just literally couldn't afford it. So we had to leave, you know, because I think they offered like 25% off or whatever to stay on, and we just had to say no, it's just not, because when Alex came to me and she was like, babe, like, do you think we should like keep this? And I was like, babe, like, I'll leave the call to you, you know, like, I was like, I'm not sure, but I think I'll let you make that decision
Yeah.
on that
Okay.
particular one.
Mm.
And because she was the one who initially signed him up to the class and all that kind of stuff, and she fully understands all the, like, I honestly, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know the price of the the classes myself. I just knew, I was just the one going with him regularly every week, but
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I didn't know the actual cost we were paying for that class.
No.
So when she brought it up to me and said, hey, like, we may have to cancel this, I was like, babe, you make the
Mm.
choice. Like, I'm fine with whatever you decide, basically.
Mm.
And so we ended up canceling that. But I think now with the swimming, hey Racha, what's going on? Welcome to the podcast. Yeah, and all is well, Racha. I hope all is well with you as well. But yeah, generally, I just thought to myself like, yeah, like, since we dropped that and the cost of the swimming, going swimming with Ty is so cheap, you know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
worked out the cost, I think in total it probably cost me like £26 or £27 a month,
Yeah. Right.
to just go like once every weekend. I thought that's
Mm.
so good. Like, that's such
Mm.
a cheap, reasonable enough price that
Mm.
I could feasibly add that to my budget on a
Mm.
monthly basis and just take him,
S-
you know?
Yes. Sounds good. Mm.
So yeah, so like on Saturdays, Ty and I are gonna go swimming, and then he has one class he's still signed up for on the weekend on Saturday, so he'll still do that class after,
Okay.
and in the afternoon he just chills, you know.
Yeah, good.
So yeah, we're gonna have swimming in the mornings, and the good thing is that the pool is not too far from home, so it's gonna be quite easy to get there and then get
Right.
back in time for lunch and then drop him
Good.
off for thing for
Sounds like a good time. Sorry, it sounds like a good time. I mean, sometimes, especially during the weekends, those kind of places can be a bit, like crowded.
hmm
So if you're there, like not an early bird per se, but
hmm
still before noon, I think you might be better off than
yeah.
coming later, you know?
I'm
So
I'm kind of hoping that it's like when I go the first time, because I haven't obviously been there on a Saturday yet, but I'm
yeah, yeah,
hoping
yeah.
when I go the first time on a Saturday and see it, you know, I'm hoping it isn't crowded, because if it
Exactly.
is excessively crowded, I may opt to switch it to a different time on Saturday or a different
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
Um, but because primarily I just want to spend that one-on-one time with him, and I don't want him to get overwhelmed. Um, so I want to take him to the pool. It would be fine if there's like one or two other kids there, but not if there's like
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
huge crowd of people, you know,
No.
rushing to use the whole pool. Because I'd obviously want to have like a section where I can sit with him and, you know, just try to like get him to like get comfortable in the pool and understand the fundamentals and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And then yeah, you know, once I get him, you know, because he's comfortable in the water to a certain extent because I've taken him to the pool before. But the thing with it is that obviously with anything, consistency is key. So we obviously
True.
don't go to the pool often. So we've been there like maybe 3 times or whatever have you with my
Mm.
brother. And in those 3 times, you know, I think each time I had to like go through the process of trying to get him reaccustomed to like
Yeah.
getting into the deeper end and wanting to be in the water. And also, I think with that pool, it had like a slide and all this sort of stuff. And I think Ty was more keen on the playing aspect of it, you know, playing
Mm.
around on the slide and all that kind of stuff, rather than, you know, swimming, like practicing swimming. Whereas this particular pool is just a pool. You know,
Yeah,
it's
right.
got
Yeah.
lanes and it's a pool. So
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Do you know, I like a question,
mhm,
not sure if you know about this
mhm.
due to your time in the UK, but here in Sweden, it's very common, like children, like early age, go to swimming schools, like to
Yeah.
learn to swim. Is that a thing also in the UK,
It is. It is. My sister was actually recommending to me. She was like, why don't you sign him up for a swimming class, like just 1 or 2 classes? And I was saying to myself,
Yeah.
it's just the cost, really. And then also, I thought to myself as well. What I was saying to her is that I know how to swim, and I learned how to swim the formal way. It wasn't like
Yeah.
I went to a river or something and just like
Yeah,
learned
yeah.
from friends and family. But I learned to swim the formal way from going to the pool and having an
Yeah.
instructor instruct me.
Yeah.
So because of that, I believe I still have the knowledge to impart that knowledge onto Ty, just following along what I learned.
Sure.
And also for me, it's like it's time I can spend with him. It's just one on one. Him and I can just hang out and chill, and it's like our time, just the two of us, rather
Exactly.
than
Yeah.
I drop him off to a class and I pick him up. And then the other thing too as well is that with these swimming classes, it's usually like a teacher with like two kids or whatever have you, or four kids or whatever. I do not feel comfortable with leaving Ty with anyone where he's not getting full attention to a certain extent in a pool. So for me, it's like even if I dropped him off to a class with an instructor, I probably would stay and just like look and be like, if anything happened, I'd run into the water. So generally, yeah, I think the one on one with just him and I would be great, because I'll be able to
Cool.
give him 100 for like an hour. I'd be able to give him 100% of my
Yeah.
attention. We get to the pool, we rinse off and everything like that, and then
Yeah.
we get in there, and I give him an hour of just one on one time. This is how let him practice, make him more comfortable in the water and all that kind of stuff. And then once he's been doing it for at least a month or two or whatever have you consistently every Saturday, I think he'll get it. I think he'll easily pick it up, because Ty learns pretty quickly. So once he gets over the whole hump of like confidence in the water, I think
Yeah.
after that it's easy. It's easy pie.
Yeah.
You know he'll get it pretty easily, and then the
Sure.
rest is just let him get comfortable in the water.
Mm.
Sorry, let him just learn the fundamentals of treading water and swimming and floating on his back and that kind of stuff after. But it's just
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
making him comfortable first, and then the rest is easy.
Mm.
So
Cool.
yeah, that's kind of it with regards to
Yeah. The things happening and the changes also in your daily schedule in a
yeah.
certain way.
Mhm.
Also, according to, as you mentioned, I mean, it's the same over here. We have been looking through the costs and everything,
Mhm.
been able to cut some,
Mhm.
and then you always have these unwanted expenses, of course, once in a
Mhm.
while because something happens.
Mhm.
But that's another thing. You can't really parry everything.
Mhm.
But yeah, well, I can just fill in and say it's been a good week here.
Mhm.
It's been finally also, I guess, also by in Reading in UK, it starts to feel like warmer weather, like having 10 degrees at least, or even more, up to 15 almost, and some sun, and yeah, springtime. I think that almost the last snow went away like yesterday or 2 days ago. And it's just the small pieces of snow here and there now. There was a rumor saying that it would start to snow again a bit at the end of this week.
Mhm.
I hope that's not the case because right now, I mean, yeah, we've spoken about this before. Don't get me wrong, I've said it many times. I like the winter and it's snow and everything, but it's been there now for some time. So I'd rather, yeah, go into the next phase, and because it's so nice. We've had some nice walks also during the like Easter holiday. It's been like, both Adam and Annalie hasn't been to their work,
Mhm.
so it was like at home both Friday and also Monday since it was a red day.
Mhm.
So that was like a long 4-day weekend. So we've had a good time, and been doing things, eating some good meals, and also, Adam went back with Annalie, my wife, to his apartment that is leaving now, just to pack the last things
Mhm.
actually that was left there. And so we brought that into. At this point, I'm glad that we have this quite big house.
Yeah.
How it looks here. It's like for
Mhm.
storage actually when it comes
Yeah.
to Adam's stuff.
Yeah. Mhm.
Since it's gonna go to this new apartment that he bought then
Mhm.
in the beginning of June.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that's that. It's been a bit focused on that too.
Mhm.
But besides that, also just things has been moving on pretty good.
Mhm.
I've been doing my thing, being quite productive, I would say.
Mhm.
A bit, yeah, yeah. No, it's not so much to add to it. To be honest,
It's kind of
nothing
mundane.
really. Yeah, it's sure. It's more like I would define it more like a normal week with this little extra with the Easter holiday
Hmm.
weekend. That was the, I guess, the cherry on the top of the cake. So,
I actually have a
so
question about that though as well with Easter.
sure.
Something strange happened this week, and I'm not like it's not it's a good strange, it's not like a bad strange right now. But
Okay.
over the Easter holiday, at one point in the day, I think the neighbor had Zavi comes in, he's like, Mom, like the neighbor is like calling for you. And Alex is like, oh god damn it! Like I've been avoiding him all day, Q. Like why
Okay.
does Zavi have to like tell him, like okay, I'll call her or something like that, whatever. So she goes off and she goes to like talk to him, right?
Hmm.
And then she comes back and her hair's all wet. I'm like, what happened to you? And
Okay.
she's like, oh, there's this tradition we have in Eastern Europe, the Eastern European bloc or whatever have you, and so forth, where we I think during the holidays or something, it's like you try to sprinkle water on your friends or whatever have you and so forth. But it's like you're supposed to like catch them with not like slipping, so you like they would not know it's coming, and you just sprinkle some water on them, and it's a laugh or whatever. It's the thing apparently. I was like,
Okay.
we don't have that tradition, so I wanted to know, do
No,
you guys have that as well?
no, we don't. No.
Okay, so that's just them.
Yeah, yeah, that was interesting. I haven't heard about that. No,
Hmm.
we don't. As far as I know,
Hmm.
we don't have that actually.
Yeah,
No,
we don't need it
it's
because.
more the stuff for the children with the eggs and things like that, like
Hmm.
Easter eggs, and the more kind of, I guess that goes for most countries, at least
Hmm.
many. But no, 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 no water
No
involved as
water.
far as
That's
I know.
that's good
No.
because like even when we right after it happened, we went out to the shop to get something, and the neighbor was he was leaving his house at the same time, and he was like he's like saying to me like, oh, I want to get you tomorrow. And I was so I was laughing. I was like, hmm.
Yeah,
But yeah, they have their
yeah.
traditions, and
Yeah,
it's interesting though.
apparently.
It's
Yeah, it
interesting that
is. I haven't. Yeah, this is the first time I hear about it, to be
yeah,
honest.
same.
I can't recall that I've ever heard about this before. So look
Hmm.
at that now. Yeah, as we say,
Yeah.
we learn something new every day.
You
So
do, and
yeah,
for me, I still don't fully understand it, because when Alex explained it to me, I was just like, oh, okay, cool. Um,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, you do this. You do this. Yeah.
it's a thing because I think I was on the sofa either watching, I think we were watching something on the telly, or I was on my phone and we were just chatting. So when she came back and she just like explained it quickly to me, I was like, oh, okay, cool, and then we went back to what we were doing.
Mm.
So yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. But another thing though is that of the stuff that you had to cut recently because of cost of living, is there anything that you feel begrudging about having to cut? Like, is it something that you're like, oh my god, I actually like this thing, but I'm gonna have to cut it out?
Um, not really per
Mm-hmm.
se. I would more say it might be, some food once in a while that I miss that we, because it's just too expensive. We changed like the butter that we're using to something that is cheaper. It's okay, but it's not as good
It's
or
homeless people butter.
as we
Don't worry.
it's something like that. I don't know what to say, but it's those kind of things that a lot of people in I guess both where you live and where I live are
Hmm.
doing right now. That's the
Yeah.
situation.
Hmm.
And yeah, it is what it is, as
Hmm.
we
It
said
is what it
before,
is.
and you
Yeah.
just have to find your ways of doing those kind of things. No, we've been cutting. I've been looking through. Actually, Adam just yesterday, because we have those small handheld PCs. I got mine from a company many years ago when I was still doing some reviews now and then on my channel.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna sell it. And
Hmm.
Adam's gonna sell he has two devices, of course. He has a newer version of mine and an even newer version of mine. So
Wow.
yeah, of course. So we're gonna sell them. I have some other stuff in the well, if I look down in the basement, there's so much we could actually, and we should have done that before because time
Hmm.
flies and some things starts to get like old.
Hmm.
But we can definitely sell off a few things that we don't need and aren't using. I mean, some things are related to the guys like childhood that they're
Hmm.
not using anymore also. So, those kind of things. I have some even though there's a saying among musicians that you should never sell a music instrument,
Mm-hmm.
because it comes a time where you will need it or you will miss it or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's partly true,
Mm-hmm.
because I remember my first drum kit, it was a like a three-piece pearl kit from beginning of the 70s, and
Mm-hmm.
now that's a rarity. It's like, it's vintage. And of course I wanted something else, like bigger and more drums, so I sold that when I was like whatever, 13, 14, yeah, some around there,
Mm-hmm.
and bought another kit that I've also sold. I sold that for maybe 8, 7 years ago. uh but again, yeah, so so I kind of miss it, But
Mm-hmm.
even so, what I'm getting to is that I have some extra symbols as well that I'm thinking about selling.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, how it is when it's something that you've had since you were like, I mean, that was the first symbols I had when I started playing, as a teenager in a band,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's not only a piece of symbol; it's a bit more than that, But on the other hand, it's some good extra money, So yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
granted, like I know I've sold my fair share of stuff and then looked back and
mm,
realized this thing is actually worth more now than when I sold it, essentially,
yeah,
um, or I missed this or whatever have you. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
I know the feeling. You get
Sure.
you get rid of something in the moment when you're younger and you think, oh, this is weird crap. I don't need this anymore. La di da. I'll get something new, something
Mhm.
better. And then you look back and
Yeah.
it's like, crap. I could have kept it. Would
Yeah,
have
it's
been
true. I would
brilliant.
like to, yeah, I would like to track it down actually and see where those drums went. I know who bought the kit from
Hmm.
me.
Yeah.
Was actually I had a student, a private student,
Ooh.
where I lived this small village, up in the north part of Sweden.
Hmm.
At young age, yeah, I was like, I've been 14, 15 years old. But even so, yeah, so I sold it to him, and what I did do, and that I'm happy for, I did keep the snare drum,
Hmm.
and I'm really happy I didn't sell that, because that has been I've been using it quite some in different like occasions and bands and whatever.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
but it's yeah, but it's those kind of thing, a bit nostalgia,
Say then so.
Oh,
Alright.
yeah.
Nostalgia
Yeah,
aside,
so
let's talk
let's
about some
move.
video games.
Yeah.
I have been gaming this week, like proper
Oh,
gaming,
nice,
which is good.
nice.
And I want to say is all thanks to my laptop, right? So I'm
Oh,
sure I mentioned this before, but I've got a new laptop, and I got this like a couple. I want to say I got it a couple, like about maybe a month or so ago or something like that, I think. And I got this laptop specifically because of the fact that when I'm at home, I barely get any work done.
mm,
So once I'm in the house, excuse me, once I'm in the house, I'm like around Alex, she's working from home. We might get to chatting, or the kids
yeah.
are home, and I'm not I'm not really focusing, or I'm literally just not focusing because of the fact that I'm in an environment where I am so it is so familiar that like my creative juices aren't flowing. I'm just
Mm,
not really coming up with anything. So having a laptop means I could just easily get up, go to a coffee shop or something, and sit down, and I'm in a foreign environment and I'm forced to just work because I don't have all the distractions I have at home on this
mm.
laptop. And I intend not to put any other distractions on it, like my
Right.
like have certain accounts in there that don't need to be in there and all that kind of stuff. For me it's just like let's just make it a week thing. And so for that reason, with the laptop, it has been coming in so handy for me because I've actually been playing more games that I need to like review and all that kind of stuff on this particular machine because of the fact that it does have a GTX 2080 in it
Mm.
and an i7 something something something, I don't know.
Yeah,
But basically it's
it works.
it's powerful enough to run pretty much every game I have on my Steam library,
Mm,
and I have been installing quite a few game states. So with this laptop, I have upgraded it with first a small fee of about 20 quid.
mm.
I've updated the SSD in it. So the laptop itself has an NVMe drive for the main storage on the system, which is pretty quick. And I just bought a cheap SATA SSD to put inside the SATA sort of like bay on the laptop,
Yeah.
and that has been brilliant because the thing is that now I can install all my games to that thing, which it's about I want to say the drive is about 512 gigabits of storage space, which in total you probably have like 400 and something in all actuality. But the point is that it's a decent amount of storage space, and I've been able to store quite a few of my games that I'm I want to work on for review on there. And one of the games that I've been able to put on there is a game called Batora Lost Haven. And that's the one I'm going to talk about this week. I've been playing a lot of others, including Marvel Midnight Sun and a few others, but this particular one, I am very keen on like completing, and it's great on the laptop that I can plug it in on the laptop and play it wherever I happen to be, or also I can plug it in the laptop and connect the laptop to my living room telly, which is something I've been doing quite often recently, and sit comfortably on my sofa instead of uncomfortably in my office chair and actually just play it. And so this game is it's on Steam, of course, and it is published by Team 17 and developed by Stormin Game. Is that Stormin I'm seeing there? Stormmind, is that Stormmind Games? So
Okay.
it's spelled like Storm, STORM, and IND, so I guess Stormmind
Cool.
games, and it's very positive on Steam. Released on October the 20th, 2022, so that was last year, late last year basically. And I've had a copy of it from since then. I just haven't really jumped into it. And it's an action RPG, story rich, isometric action game. So basically, think like a game like Fate or something like that. It's an isometric game. You look from above, or even like I think a better example would be Bastion. If you've played a game like Bastion, it does have that similar like top down kind of view, and you have all these enemies with different types, and you have to switch between these two like forms you have. So each enemies are basically either strong or weak against like these two forms your character has. So it's like a sun and moon
Ah.
form. And the moon form is like you shoot like these blasts from your hand, and the sun form is like you have a sword, and so you have to switch between these two forms to damage enemies based on the color of the health bar, or whatever, on the enemy when it
Mm.
pops up on the screen. And it's got an interesting dynamic switching between them and trying to combo and all that kind of stuff. And so far, I'm very, very early in the game, so I can't say much else about it. But it's a single player experience. It's got full Steam achievements, full controller support as well. I've been using the PS4 controller, which that's the other thing too. Is I've been able to use my PS4 controller again, which I've had for like a while, just sitting on a shelf, on a wall mount I had. But my PS4 controller has now become my laptop controller.
Ah.
So when I play on my laptop, I use that, and it works so good. And that controller is such a good controller. I've had it for so long, and it is in perfect, immaculate condition. So I'm happy about that. So I've been playing a lot of that, and of course the game has Steam trading card support as well as closed caption available, and language support for quite a few languages. But there's only one for audio, so the only one for audio is English, obviously, and the rest of it is subtitled for Italian, French, German, Spanish, Spain Spanish, Simplified Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Polish, Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, Russian, Turkish, and traditional Chinese. So it's a lot of language support if you're willing to read subtitles for this game. It has a lot of good reviews across the board, pretty much everywhere. And requirements, though, this is a strange thing. This game it seems very graphic, intense, because like even on my system, I felt like it was like taken a bit. So they say minimum requirements is an i5, which if you start at i5, yeah, you need that game using some power. So it's an i5, or so i5 4690, or AMD FX 8320, which I haven't seen an FX processor in ages. And then for graphics, you're looking at a NVIDIA GTX 1650 or a Radeon RX 580 as your minimum requirements. To get the recommended requirements, which I guess to run the game at its best, not best, but most optimal, would be like an i7 8700K or Ryzen 5 3600X, partnered with a GTX 1070 or an AMD Ryzen RX Vega 560 sorry, 56 8 gig GPU, which again, those are some pretty beefy specs for a game like this. And I think the reason for it is that there are a lot of particle effects in this game. But yeah, I will say that's the game essentially. So far, I am intrigued by the notion of this game. It's again Batora Lost Haven. I do like the character design for one of the characters, which is kind of like your friend. I don't think I really like the main character's design. Like I like it, but not that much. I like her friend's design more. But her friend's not the main character. You play as this other girl for the most of the game, and yeah, we'll see how the story goes. We'll see how the game plays out. La di da. And I'll get more time with it on my PC. So feel free to check it out if you guys want to. The game is retailing at 20 quid, so it's quite reasonable if you want to pick it up. And as I said, very positive on Steam. So yeah, it's available for those who want to, dip their toes into that kind of stuff. And hopefully I'll have more information to give you guys about it soon, once I've properly dipped my toes into this and found out everything I need to find out about it. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. Raj?
Cool.
What about you?
Exactly. I've been dipping my toes into the fountain of the past. It's like, yeah, I've had this, I once in a while go back and play older titles when it comes to FPS games, and I do videos about them on my channel. It can be fun and interesting. It's also cool to see some people, when you're reading comments about the nostalgia and what they felt about the game before and now, and that kind of stuff. And I think most of us, doesn't matter what genre of games we're playing, kind of like to do that. And what I've been doing recently is to go back and play some older Battlefield games. And I made a video about Battlefield 4, and then I jumped over Battlefield 5 and went on to Battlefield 2042, which is the recent game out there. And, there's been a lot of, bad things about Battlefield 2042. However, I went back playing Battlefield 5. And it's kind of interesting and I talk about this also in the video I made, because when this game was released in 2018, I wasn't too happy to see what kind of direction the franchise was going from Battlefield 4. That I still think is a very good game, one of the best in the series, onto like Battlefield 5. I played the beta and the maps weren't that great. Afterwards, I realized also, I talked with this about Adam the other day, that unfortunately DICE picked like 2 of the worst maps in the beta for some reason. But even so, the game was released and there was some stuff going on, some scandals surrounding the game and everything. And it did so, and then 2020, DICE decided to not continue to support update or support the game, to be honest. This was a big thing, and of course a lot of people got disappointed. I mean, imagine if you've invested hundreds of hours or even more, and then they decide to move on, because they made continuous support for Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront 2, and also they have started to develop Battlefield 2042 apparently. But I want to say this, and this is the thing though, what they did though, and what kind of state of how the game plays now, actually kind of surprised me. I had my saying is that I had more fun now coming back playing the game than I had when it was released in 2018. And I was a bit surprised about that, but I think I know why. Well, the game reached a certain point. Most of the times when it comes to games, you know how it is. I mean, they are launched, they are maybe not even super finished, or they have their flaws, and there's not enough content. And DICE is also quite slow when it comes to progression of actually releasing DLCs and things like that. But if you wait, and apparently this has been out since 2018, there's plenty of stuff there. It's also single player and quite a lot of gamers when it comes to multiplayer. And I just checked the price, and I think you can buy it for like 11-12 euros, something like that, if you find it at the right place. which is a good price for that kind of content.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still a lot of people online also, if you're into multiplayer, playing the game. So it
Mm-hmm.
has a kind of a healthy player base still. It's almost the same numbers actually that Battlefield 2042 has on
Mm-hmm.
average per day. That's kind of interesting.
Wow.
I know that Battlefield 1 has even more
Mm-hmm.
than both these games. It's still one of the most popular Battlefield games right now still.
Mm-hmm.
But I also understand that this has to do with the comparison. I play Battlefield 2042, and even though it has been improved in many ways, it's still not my game. It
Mm-hmm.
feels as if it's not really a Battlefield game, to be honest, still.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that some people would disagree. That's perfectly fine. But my saying is again that it kind of also tells me that the quality overall has gone down.
Yeah.
So when you then go back and you play something that you didn't really like it when it was back then because you came from Battlefield 4 in this case, which was an even better game, that then you still feel, at least when coming back now, okay, it's better than the newest game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually having some fun here because I can still feel the breeze of Battlefield in this Battlefield game, if that makes sense. Saying. I found that quite interesting and a bit. I became a bit sad as well because I'm like, sure, it's great, fun experience going back, and you should have fun when you play a game. That's the whole idea of it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what game it is. But it also told me again that, well, the scene overall, and I've said this also in my kind of department of FPS gaming,
Mm-hmm.
has been a bit like meh. This
Mm-hmm.
tightness that hasn't been that great. Also, the new like Call of Duty game, talked about that before. Modern Warfare 2 hasn't been doing well, and the numbers have been declining. And they did, though, a good update recently, which has to do, and I think I have to mention this, even though I'm talking about another game,
Mm-hmm.
because it has to do with the anti-cheat system
Mm-hmm.
in Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2, which is called Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time, they actually went out, actually, Activision Blizzard, and explained not how it works, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but what happens when they detect a cheater in the game. And I think this is great
Mm-hmm.
because what happens is that the player that are cheating, well, first there's a warning.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't stop cheating, well, apparently if you get into a game, you can find yourself not seeing the enemies. They become invisible. Uh, or you can shoot, but your weapons don't do any damage at all.
Mm-hmm.
Or you simply don't have a weapon any longer. There's no weapon in your hand.
Wow.
So they really found out a way to humiliate and punish the cheaters. And
Mm-hmm.
even better, there's a problem when it comes to certain devices called like Sim or Cronus. Maybe you've heard of it.
No,
It's a
I
device
haven't.
that you can use between your controller into the console or between your keyboard and mouse into your PC. For PC, it gives you actually aim assist.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's cheating. It's basically cheating, even though it might be by some considered a bit lighter compared to like auto aim and wall hack and stuff like that. But still,
Mm-hmm.
it's cheating. With controller, even stronger aim assist, hardly no recoil at all when it comes to the weapons. It's
Mm-hmm.
stupid, right? But these things has been really hard to track. But now Ricochet and Activision Blizzard have found a way to track those devices as well. You
Mm-hmm.
can imagine the storm on the internet now. These companies is actually selling out these devices now for less prices. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's freaking great.
Yeah.
And I've just heard that Bungie is actually going with the same kind of model, I think, when it comes to their
Mm-hmm.
Destiny 2 game. Because it's been a problem there too with these Cronus devices and Sim, whatever they're called.
Mm-hmm.
It's I wanted to say that because in it's an important, very important thing in the context of gaming, especially also if you are somewhat involved in the world of like online gaming, and especially also in FPS gaming,
Mm-hmm.
because cheating has become, it's so blatant. It's like it's everywhere, and I have encountered it many times,
Yeah.
and it's insanely frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a bit fun. There is actually, it came across a YouTube channel. I don't remember right now the name of it. That actually the only thing he's doing is to expose cheaters on his channels, and he's very good at it. And he showed a tournament that was just taking place after a few days after this update regarding the Ricochet anti-cheat system. And we're talking about streamers that have been using these devices and everything. And it was freaking embarrassing to see them playing without their sheets. They play like NPCs. They were so bad. They were so bad because all of a sudden they got almost frightened, shooting because they couldn't handle like the guns or the recoil or get the good aim that they had before. Apparently, since they had so strong and enhanced aim assist. Yeah, it's. And these are big streamers. These are people earning money on Twitch. I just want to say that.
For me, I personally don't understand the appeal of cheating in a game. I don't get how people find satisfaction or fun out of, because you're not winning, to be honest. Like literally it's AI just winning for you, and to that extent I don't see how you can be satisfied doing that. Like for me, that just seems bizarre to consider the fact. Like I like when I play, like I'm a cocky person when it comes to gaming. Like I like winning, right? I'm not even gonna pretend I don't like. I love winning, right? But I love winning because I win, because I'm actually doing all the stuff I have to do to win at whatever I'm playing at, So when I win, I know it's my skill. I know it's on me, Like I play against some friends of mine in eFootball, and I've got this friend named Kareth, and he's like champion level. Like he plays, he competes in tournaments, and he's done pretty well. I think he won a tournament recently. And when I play against Kareth, 9 times out of 10 I lose. Kareth is just, he's better at me at the game. But I never think to myself, man, if only I had a code or something to make me better than Carrot. Like, no, I'm like, mate, I am enjoying myself playing against Carrot because of the fact that every time I play him, I get better. And, on the off occasion that I do win, it feels so good. It's like, holy shit, I beat Carrot, And, like I put in the work, I scruffed through it, I got it done, and I won the match. Even if I win on penalties, I'm happy for it, But I will never understand people who like have to, like feel like they need to play cheat codes and all that kind of stuff. To me, that just seems bizarre. It is unnecessary, but
yeah, it's sad, and it's a kind of behavior that is, I don't know, it's not a good thing. I don't think it's, I don't know how to put this. I don't think it's good for the soul of the person, when it comes to other things in life. How are you going to do then? What are you going to do when you're studying? Are you going to cheat? Like, you're doing tests, or what's happening, I'm just saying it's easy to fall into some kind of very bad morale behavior kind of thing if you've started that kind of walking down that road, And it's just. But again, I'm just happy to see that. Of course, that it doesn't mean that cheaters will disappear. There will always be ways, apparently, to cheat. But it means that these companies are starting to they're taking it seriously, and they are doing more and more when it comes to investing more, when it comes to actually finding ways to detect these kind of as mentioned, hardwares, it's one thing, but cheaters overall, and also taking actions against them. And I think that's just great. That's my kind of finale saying. Man. But besides this is beautiful gaming, have you been watching anything on the Tele?
On the Tele, so I've been watching a few things, but there's one thing I wanted to mention, and it was something I started watching last night and didn't finish. And I wanted to mention this as a warning to stay away from this, not necessarily to watch this thing. So this is
we do that also sometimes, so it's good. It's good.
Indeed, this is a warning. Like, avoid this thing like the damn plague. And essentially, this is something on Amazon Prime. So I went on the Prime Video because it's, speaking of the stuff we had to cancel and stuff like that, we canceled quite a lot of services, but Prime was one of the stuff that we kept because we order a lot from Amazon, and and basically we have Prime Video, So I was like, we need to start using this Prime, all the perks that we get for Prime because we're paying for this on a monthly basis. So I said, okay, cool. I'm gonna watch something on Prime Video because I barely ever watch anything on Prime Video, unless of course it's The Boys when the new season starts or whatever. So I find this show. It looks like a nice looking romantic comedy and all that kind of stuff. You guys know I like my romantic comedies. I was like, look, I'm gonna get into this. It's gonna be great. And I find this show called After We Collided, released in 2020, and it's an hour and 45 minutes long. And the whole thing, it's about this girl and this guy who they were a couple, and then they break up. And the whole idea of this thing is this is supposed to play out as a romantic comedy, and what happens if after the romantic comedy, if things don't go the way it usually ends in a romantic comedy, which is the two characters fall in love, then something goes wrong and they break up, and then there's this big gesture that happens at the end, and then they come back together. In this one, the big gesture happens and they don't get back together, and it starts from that point, right? And you start initially following the girl, and her name's Tessa, and she's started this job and all that kind of stuff. And when it's following her with this new job, it seems like an interesting film, right? It seems like an interesting B movie film because the voice acting seems to be out of sync for some reason. I don't know if it's just me, but like it seemed out of sync. But then when it focuses on the guy, it starts getting like, I don't enjoy the scenes that have him in it. Like, he's just whiny and immature and all this sort of stuff, and it just doesn't fit. And then when they're together, she gets dragged into the whole immature thing, and then it just got to a point. I think I got maybe I got like maybe 30 something minutes in or something like that, or maybe less. And I was just like, oh, man, I'm turning this off. Like, I was just like, I can't. But it's basically young nonsense drama, right? That's basically what this is. And I can't see myself finishing it. Like, unfortunately, I cannot see myself finishing this series, this movie, sorry, at all. It's an hour and 45 minutes. Ugh, I wish it was just an hour,
Oops.
It's a 5.0 on IMDb, After We Collide, and I honestly want to give it a 3 or something, I honestly, and the thing is, for me, I only started watching this because I saw a trailer, and the trailer looked intriguing.
Okay.
So I saw this trailer, and it was a trailer of them sitting around a table with a group of friends, and there was banter and stuff. I was like, oh, this looks like it could be interesting, and so I picked it up, and yeah, it just seems like unnecessary, like tween drama that little tween girls are gonna want to watch. They're like, hey, look at them, the romance, they're kissing, for me, it's like, ugh, this is lame. Like, I want nice romance, interesting romance with clever writing, and yeah, this show is crap. So I regret starting watching this, and wherever I saw that trailer initially, I blame you. You suck. Whoever posted that trailer somewhere, this is your fault. You bamboozled me. You swindled me into watching this trash. So yeah, After We Collide, avoid it like the plague. Rog, please tell me you have something that we can not avoid and we can actually watch.
Exactly. Actually, I do have. I'm happy to present to you something that you don't need to avoid, like the plague or chicken pox, for that sake. Actually, yeah, it's a series called Barry.
Yeah,
simply Barry on on HBO Max, and this was a recommendation from Adam. Of course, it's so typical. Most of his recommendation has been good for me, at least, to watch. So what is this? It's a series about a hitman. He's from the Midwest, and he moves to Los Angeles, and he gets caught up in the city's theater art scene. And this is where it becomes so good, because first off, I gotta give credit to the actor. I think his name is, what is his name?
Is it Bill Hader?
Bill Hader. Bill Hader, or Bill Hader,
yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. He's portraying this guy really well. He's, first of all, this is a nice hitman. I mean, this is a good guy, and he believes. I mean, oh yeah, he just he just takes out bad people. Yeah, he's very convinced that he's doing something good. At least he
Mm-hmm.
tries to convince himself. But the thing is, again, he gets caught up in the city's theater art scene. He meets this girl there too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a known face when it comes to the teacher regarding the theater instructor, you might say,
Mm-hmm.
Jean Cosino.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, that's him, right? Yeah, exactly. He was in a series way back in time for anyone who might have known that. But he's also doing a good job. But overall, what I wanted to say about this series is I watched a few episodes now, and I'm really into it. It's not that it's a bit rare when you find a series that combines action and comedy in a really good way. You know, when it kind of merges really nice and makes sense, sort of. It's fun and it's a bit of action now and then, a bit of romance, but things goes wrong, of course. But even so, it's good. It's 8.4 on IMDb, and I can recommend Barry. I think this is a series that might appeal to quite a few
Mm-hmm.
because, as mentioned, it has this kind of mix of being a bit fun or even almost quirky from time to time, and also this action going on. So yeah, I give Barry a big thumbs up. I'm gonna continue to watch this HBO series from
Mm.
here on. Yes.
Okay.
Mm,
I see Henry Winkler's in it as well, and I like him. He's in
yeah.
some good stuff. So, yeah, if I could find a way to watch this, I will.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we don't get HBO here.
No, I know. Yeah.
It's not a thing here. So I don't know if somehow I find it on any of the streaming services we have here. I can't take out any other streaming services.
No,
We had
no,
to
no.
cut Amazon, not Amazon, sorry, Disney Plus. So that was one
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
had to drop. But yeah, if this is available on one of, oh, I'm seeing HBO Max's. I can start a free trial of it on
Yeah.
True
Look at that.
Amazon Prime. I'm not doing that though. Um, oh, actually, no. It's true to US. I'd have to have a US account. It's not available in the UK.
Okay.
Sorry, my bad. I was fooled. So yes. But that's good though. Barry seems
Yeah.
interesting.
Sure.
It's got a high rating. Looks interesting. Yeah. If ever I'm able to get around to watching it, I will indeed.
Good.
Um,
Good.
so Raj, we've got to the
Yeah.
end of the show, haven't we?
Yeah. We have.
And there's a thing that we usually write about now. What's that thing called?
Shout out for your channel
Shout
or
out for your
podcast.
channel or podcast.
Yeah.
Have I been listening to any podcasts this week? I don't think so. Have I been
Uh,
watching any new channels this week? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Been out of it. I've
No.
been doing things, like
Yeah, we've been busy doing things ourselves, I would say. In
definitely. If you guys want to suggest something in the comments, suggest something for next week, and maybe I'll shout out if it's something you guys think is interesting. After I check it out, of course. Once I get a chance to check it out.
exactly. Yeah.
But I think for this week, no shout out this week. I think
No.
we just bid you adieu and let the podcast be its own shout out this week. You guys go
Yeah.
feel free to check us out some more. So Raj, how about you? You serenade us into the the leaving part of the podcast.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
gonna go into the leaving part. The leaving part on a Wednesday. It is what it is, midweek and everything. Recording. I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you for being here. That means a lot, both for me and the Q. And stay healthy and have a good time. If you want to check out this cool series, again, whatever streaming service you might find it on, Barry, then go ahead. And some media gaming. And of course, you've heard also about a series. Was it a series or a film? Sorry, Q. Was it you watched? Like
Oh, it's a movie. It's a crap movie.
some movies, a crap movie. Yeah, exactly as he said. Avoid it as the plague. With that said, my friends, eat an apple, stay healthy, and muffin and out.
Beautiful as always. So that, guys, thank you very, very much for listening to this episode of That Beautiful Life podcast. As always, you can find Raj pretty much everywhere at 40 Splish Splash. That's the number 40 with SPL, ISH, SPL, ESH. He streams on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and a Sunday. That's correct?
Yup.
Beautiful. You can find me at LP Gardens, you pretty much everywhere else. I stream on Simply Binge, at Simply Binge, at Simply Binge UK, pretty much everywhere. And I stream on a Monday and a Thursday. So, today being Wednesday. I'm not streaming today, I'm free. Tomorrow I'll be streaming. So, with that, actually, tomorrow, I don't even know if I'll stream tomorrow. I've actually got, I forgot. Well, I'll be looking after my mate's son tomorrow, so I probably won't be
Exactly.
streaming tomorrow. Whatever, we'll figure it out. That being said, thank you very much for listening to the episode of That Beautiful Life podcast. Many beautiful people like subscribe to this podcast on Castbox, Acast, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcast. Some people enjoy coming elsewhere, and of course, what's the company like it that we're giving it for free? So, as always, guys, this has been queued for your pleasure, and it's a wrap. That's the episode.